Yeah, good evening. This is K4PEW. We're at net number, where we are, 1,112 in our 11th year. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? The answer is no. Hold on one second, if you don't mind. There we go. I was looking at something else. You notice I made the big change on the screen. I'm on the left now, and the display of my radio is on the right. Big deal. The big changes there. Nothing else changes, though. If there's no emergency traffic, if there is emergency traffic, just jump in and say so, and say where you are, what's got wrong, and what your address is, so we know where to send the police, fire department, and the whatever. Net may be broken at any time for that. For information on that, you can go to YouTube right now, put my call, not the word my call, but K4PEW. Search block, it'll bring up a little circle, a little picture of me and my wife about 13 years ago. And you can click on that and you'll see it on the videos. It'll be an active video. You can also go to 146415.net. You can also go to groups.io. That's put in there that groups.io. That's the address. And go put MJSS in there. You can sign up for our email system, or you can just ignore it, or you can just sign up for our email system, or you can just look at our net schedule. The email system is actually a nice way to sell equipment or technical questions answered, because we got about 200 people in there, and some of them are pretty smart. You can also send me an email if you can't get or figure out something else. You can email me at k4pew@arrl.net. Net normally meets at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night, which we've been doing now for 11 and a half years. Be 12 years in September or something. About the same time this month in September. Every Wednesday and Saturday night. Of course, tonight we're doing a net. If you're here listening to us, you're on 146.415 FM Simplex. Purpose of it is to have fun. Figure out who you can hear, who you can't hear, and try to figure out where you're going to scrape up some dough in the, in the change underneath your car seat or your sofa, looking for a way to improve your antenna height or antenna quality. Height is the king, though. Height's the way to do it. You can even have a cheapy antenna if you can get it up high enough. As far as announcements, we've just got the Hamfest coming up. Well, there's two announcements, really. One is the net Sunday night, of course, the 10-meter net that Michael does on 28.415, moves over to FM, and he also upper sideband and to FM and then to C4 FM. That's at 7:30 on Sunday nights. You don't want to miss it. Also, you don't want to miss the Hamfest coming up July 19th. That's this July, not next July. Well, it is the next July, not next July. So, yeah, July 19th. And you need to go there. It's at the, I guess if you don't know, it's at the fairgrounds near Lebanon. Fairgrounds near Lebanon. You'll know where it is. Is there any other announcements besides those two? All right. I don't even know if there's anybody out there. I guess there are. Yeah, I know there are. I can see the body count. The people are watching. At least on the YouTube thing, I can see there's 6 people watching or so. Again, net number 1,112. We start from the west tonight, but first we're going to take check-ins from the people short on time, mobile, or first-time check-ins. So let's do that first.
10-4, TJF.
All right. You're supposed to check in on the disabled area.
I am disabled.
Yeah, very good. Everything going well for you there, Rick?
Hey, yes, sir, Paul. It is. I'm just glad I got to check in, man. I said, man, I think the net's tonight. I'm going to go turn my radio on. And there you were. How convenient.
I just know it's the highlight of your day.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, appreciate what you do, man. Thank you.
All right, very good. Good to have you in there. You have a great signal today. Conditions seem to be very good.
Yes, you as well.
Very good. Mutual Admiration Society here. That's Kilo November 4 Tango Juliet Foxtrot. That's Rick in Ashland City, West Ashland City. Who else is short on time mobile or first time checking? All righty, we sure? All right, then we're going over to starting from the west. Please come now.
Kilo Oscar 4, Mike Kilo Delta.
Hey, Doug, where you been? You've been hiding on us.
Yeah, you've heard that story about around the world in 80 days. Well, I've been around the town in a daze.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I feel like that many days. Not to pun it there, but how goes it?
Oh, it's going okay, Paul, for an old guy like me. I've been camping. Wife and I bought a little camper and have been enjoying it. Been out on a couple of trips and having a good time doing parks on the air and just hanging out and feeding the squirrels and fighting the squirrels.
Yeah, my wife's idea of roughing it is Hollywood, Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah, I like the regular Holiday Inn. That Express, that's just a little bit too tedious for me.
Yeah. No, my favorite was when I used to do a fair amount of traveling was you'd go and every breakfast was about the same. It was like a banana, a bagel, a bowl of cereal, just really cheap stuff.
Yeah, I spent my last year that I was gainfully employed, I spent 200 nights in a hotel, so I'm very familiar with those Holiday Inns.
Oh boy, yeah, that's right. You did a lot of travel. I forgot about that. Man, that's 200. Man, I didn't even come close to that.
Well, it wasn't all bad. I mean, I enjoyed the job. I enjoyed the travel. I got to see a lot of different places, and on the times my wife could travel with me, I mean, it was like a little mini vacation sometimes.
Oh, I bet it was. You got to see a lot of places.
Yeah, we had a good time. Traveled all over the eastern half of the United States, and unfortunately, I was not into ham radio at that time, or I can only imagine the parks I could have activated back then.
Oh, you saw my list before, didn't you? The ones we need to add to the parks on the air. Not the parks, but the other different things on the air. You didn't see that list?
I don't think I did.
Oh, it's on the either. Well, you're going to go to the start the net for, if not the last one, the one before that. It was either this past Saturday, which I don't think it was. I think it was last week ago. You'll see it though. It's a list. When the net starts, that's what you see is the list of, since we got parks on the air, we need other things to activate, and I've got a nice list there for you.
Hey, I vote for Waffle House on the air.
Well, I didn't think of Waffle House, but I had some other unique locations.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Well, one of them is bridge overpasses on the air.
That would be Buddha.
And then another one I think was highway rest stops on the air.
And of course, we could do graveyards or cemeteries on the air.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that one. That's a good one. That would be actually a good one. You know that military cemeteries on the air, because there are a bunch of those.
Well, in addition to all my travels, I used to do this geocaching, which is a lot of fun. And oddly enough, I would find lots of geocaches in cemeteries.
Oh wow, and that's where somebody would hide something. Is that what they did?
Yeah, they're little containers, and it's just got a slip of paper that you have to find and sign it. Just to say you've been there. You don't win anything. It's kind of like a worldwide Easter egg hunt. A lot of them are in parks and on trails and different places, but I found a good number that people had placed in cemeteries, and some of them they put it in a particular spot to draw your attention to a particular gravestone and marker. Some historical information.
Oh well, that'd be pretty good. That'd be interesting stuff you wouldn't normally see.
Yep, that's very true, very true. And I found a very unique one up in Nebraska. A man had put it there on the side of the road near his farmhouse. It was a memorial to his son who had been killed overseas, and it was a really, really nice one.
Oh wow, that man, people go all out for that, don't they?
Well, they do, and I felt honored to go find it and respect and remember that young man's sacrifice.
Oh, and the bad part about that is there's a ton of them.
Yep, they are. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. I'm sure there's other people wanting to get on. It's good talking to you, and I will try to be a more frequent flyer. But like I say, we're doing a lot of camping, so a lot of times I'm not in a location where I can hit you on Sunday night or Tuesday night or Saturday night or Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Today's Wednesday, isn't it?
Yes, it is. No, and I don't feel bad. I'd rather have you spend the time with your wife and family than with me.
Well, there you go. Yeah, now come winter time, I'll be a frequent flyer. But anyway, I get off here. Thanks for what you do, Paul. KO4MKD.
Yeah. Yeah, very good, Doug. That was Kilo Oscar 4, Mike Kilo Delta, Doug, up in Greenbrier. Who else is West? Short on time mobile. No, we're on the West. That's where we are. Nobody else West? I think there was a perfect double in there. Let's try that again. Oh man, DJT, what's up? Yeah, you're really a rough signal tonight. If conditions are good tonight, but not for you. Yeah, no, I just had Rick in there from over in Ashland City, and his was as good as being, next door almost. And now here you're real rough. I was expecting better.
Yeah, some in the summertime comes up, your signal drops off to like something like you can have S3, S4, like B maybe. Yeah, it's summertime thing. That's what it is.
Well, where are you? You haven't been around much recently. Where you been busy? I take it.
Yeah, I was busy. I was unemployed and had a new job, and I've been running around like a one-legged man in the ass, just trying to get my feet under me in this new gig.
Well, yeah, it's awful to be. I've been in that boat in a couple of times, and it's rougher when you're to have to be that busy when you're getting older.
Yeah, I don't have it in me anymore, man. I came to that revelation this year, and yeah, I'm not as young as I used to, and I just can't do this stuff anymore, man. And yeah, I didn't expect to be in this position when I was, staring down the retirement tunnel. But I got it squared away, and we're getting there, and I'm just trying to get back in the swing and pay them bills so I can get out of this gig and call it quits.
Yeah, well, I kind of purposely retired early, but it worked out for me very well. I was very happy with that. I retired at 60, so I felt good about that. Even though I went a couple years before, and I found another, part-time job and just to have fun, so to speak, and then picked up on Social Security when I hit 62, and I've already collected more than I put in, I think.
Yeah, if I didn't have three ex-wives, I would already be retired, but they got all that money.
Oh, no, I know what you're saying. I would have retired at 50 if I didn't do that. If I didn't have two ex-wives.
Absolutely. But other than that, everything's good, bro. Just hanging out here, chilling like a villain, and we got all these projects going on in the house. The kitchen's getting remodeled. We got painters, new countertops coming, a bunch of stuff getting done in the house. And I got the pool open, but damn, if I could use it, it's too cold.
Yeah, but it's been a little cool for this area for this time of year. I'm surprised, really, but hope you do well. I hope it all works out for you. Anything else on that?
I mean, that's it. I'd be sitting here and heard it was on. I thought I'd check in. You can tell me, my friend, we'll do it soon. I'll try to be on a little more often.
Very good, Don. It's always good to hear you. Come in from Bon Aqua this November 4, Delta, Juliet, Tango, and Bon Aqua. Who else is West? Well, you either have a weird signal or there's a double in there, but I got you in there, Jack. Everything going good?
Everything's fine. Did you hear Charles in West Nashville?
No, I think that's who was doubling with Don. I think if that was it, because there was also somebody doubled you, and that was probably Charles too.
Okay, I'll let you get on with it. KG4 ILB.
Very good. That's Jack in Donaldson. You think I remember that for sure? Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victory. Charles, you in there?
Yeah, go ahead. No, I wasn't dubbing. I was listening there.
Okay. Very good. Kilo Charlie 4 Tango November. Anything good for the net tonight, Charles?
No, just living the life. Everything's going well, I guess. Just a little more time to play radio over.
Oh yeah, school's out. Oh, you don't do any gigs for the school board during the summer?
No, I chose not to do any. I plan on going to Seattle in July, so I didn't try to do any extra.
Oh, you're going out to visit your brainiac daughter?
Exactly. See what's going on in Seattle. I keep asking what are we going to do, and they keep saying, well, we got stuff to do. They don't tell me what, though.
You've been to Seattle before, right?
No, never been. I know they got a place to fish, what it costs to fish, and I think we're going to go see Mount Rainier, I think it is.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I've seen pictures of it. I've never been there. I've never been in any of the other than California. I've never been in Oregon or Washington, but I understand it's very pretty up there.
Yeah, I kind of want to see the West Coast Ocean if we can, but Seattle don't really sit on the ocean. It sits kind of off they got like a bunch of little bays and inlets and stuff before you get to the ocean.
Oh yeah, it's got a big bay. It's I don't remember exactly what it looks like, but it's like it ain't no little bay.
No, it's quite a bit of territory between Seattle and the ocean, but they say there's a place that you can get up high enough and see the ocean. So I just want to see the west coast to see what the ocean. I've seen the east coast, I've seen the Gulf, so I'd like to see the west.
You ought to see when you get there. See if they have one of those these 4 or 5 hour boat tours that'll take you right out there and out to wherever they got. Usually they have that kind of thing in places like that. Just like a shuttle type thing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'd like it. I would enjoy anything where I don't have to walk a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Getting too old to be walking a lot, but no, that sounds like fun. Make sure to take a lot of pictures for us.
I'll do my best. Y'all have a good evening. Thanks for picking me up. KC4TNQ.
Yeah, very good. That's Charles in West Nashville. Kilo Charlie 4 Tango November Quebec. Who else is west?
KD4CBD.
Very good. So you're still in the western sector?
Yeah, probably. I won't move my antenna for another 6 weeks or so.
Oh, very good. Very good. Everything going all right down there?
Yeah, doing all right. Worked a bunch of short skip 11 meters today, of all things. Tried to raise people on 10 meters, but you know how that is. Either that band wasn't open, which you would think it would be if 11 is, or there's just not people there. I don't know.
I think it's often there's just nobody there because they think it's dead.
Yeah, it's crazy because it was like Bristol and things like that, as close as that, and Ohio, West Virginia, Oklahoma City. That's real close for something like that.
Yeah, I know. One way to find out if there's people just lurking out there, you put out a fake call and say you're mobile Marine, and you'll find out how many people are out there.
Yeah, airborne mobile gets them too.
Or airborne mobile female.
Yeah, airborne mobile over the North Pole.
Yeah, very good. Nothing else for that?
That's it, KD4CV.
Yeah, very good. That was Greg, Kilo Delta 4 Charlie, Victor Echo in Antioch. Who else is west? I got a nice nothing there. You got to say something. If you did, I had no audio. Did anybody hear any audio on that station?
Not at all. Yeah.
It's almost like you got to take that piece of silly putty out of the hole in the microphone. Something is amiss with the microphone. Come back when you've had it fixed. We'll be here. Who else is west? All right, to the south.
Hey, 450.
Hey, Tony. Are you doing okay tonight?
Unless you've heard something.
No, I didn't get any complaints from your neighbors, so I think everything's fine.
Okay, well, my girls are losing.
Oh, really? Which team are you rooting for these days? Caitlin's?
Fever, yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't watch it. I have not watched. Let me put it that way. But I get a kick out of it every time I see an article about the women's basketball, professional basketball. It's about the rivalries between certain gals.
Yeah, they get a little ticky-tacky, but I don't know. But yeah, they're down 10 points or better with 4 minutes left to go. So,
Well, does that prove that one person does not make the team, doesn't it?
Well, in this case, it does because she's not playing tonight.
Boy, yeah. Still, that's what I'm saying. One person does not make the team, and the whole, you should be able to pull somebody, and you still should be pretty competitive, even losing one player.
Well,
Anything else for the net besides?
no, not really. I got a little preachy today about the garbage. You probably saw that on my Facebook page. But other than that, uh, no, it's been a pretty good day. KF4, KFQ.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I'll have to look. I'm surprised I didn't. I don't see it coming up on my feed there, so I'll have to take a gander at that. The No, I understand why you get preachy. It is annoying when you consider how um, inconsiderate it is when people throw garbage out of their windows going down the road. Although some of it is, I don't know what percentages of it is. Some of it is can fly out a window by accident. I don't think that's very common. It can fly out the back of pickup trucks, which I think happens somewhat. And then I don't know about the garbage trucks, that are hauling big loads of stuff. So, but most of your stuff is personal stuff. It's candy wrappers and Kentucky Fried Chicken buckets, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. No, I got people are like, oh well, the garbage isn't that big a deal. Well, what happens? I get into to the micro garbage, the nanoparticles that break down, and it's becoming such a problem that they're now finding it in humans in their blood vessels, and it's contributing to cardiovascular disease.
Like which nanoparticles from what?
Well, the plastics break down into sunshine, and then it gets into the water, and from the water it gets into the food supply, and from the food supply it gets into us.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. I've heard that about several things. I just don't remember what they are. I know it was those things, and what else? I'm trying to remember what else it was because we got enough pollutants in the atmosphere and the groundwater, et cetera, than we can possibly imagine.
Yep. Anyway, but yeah, I got a little preachy, but other than that, that's it. Let everybody else talk. KF4, KFQ.
Yep, that was Tony KF4 KFQ. He's in Smyrna. Big signal. Who else is west or south?
WA4FHY. Is this any better?
Oh, there you go. I was just thinking about you earlier this week. How you doing, Paul?
Quite well, thank you. And you? Hope this is the first time I've listened in quite some time. Anyway, this thing has a little knob called the mic gain, and it was full counterclockwise the last couple of times I tried to holler at you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's fun. And which radio is that?
I picked up an old ancient ST3 736R up at Dayton, and this is the first time I've had a chance to see if it transmits. I knew that it received okay.
Well, that's interesting. I don't think I have adjusted mic gains on radios. I'm no expert, but it's interesting if you have zero gain, it actually shuts the mic right off, I think, because I actually at one point, and I think on your second transmission, I thought I could hear a voice, but it was so low as to be, well, it was imperceptible.
Oh, okay. I bet it wasn't very loud either, was it?
No, that's what I'm getting at. It was way. If I wasn't wearing headphones, I wouldn't even knowing there was somebody talking. But again, the voice was so low as to be not. I just could. It was almost like in one of those scary movies where you just hear somebody's mumbling something.
Oh, well, you know me, I can't mumble even with the mic gain turned up. Anyway, appreciate the report there, Paul, and I hope everything's going well with the net, and I'll let you carry on. K4PW, WA4FHY.
Yeah, very good, Paul. Hope you're doing good. That's Whiskey Alpha 4 Foxtrot Hotel Yankee, and I got to think about where he is now. He is in. I know the name of the place, and it escapes my mind at the moment. It is. Oh shoot! Give it to me. Old Hickory.
Roger.
Oh man! See, my Alzheimer's is not completely hitting me. Old Hickory. Who else is? Who else is? What did I say? South or now we're going south or east? Ah, very good. A little rough copy there, Larry, but I got you in there. Anything for the net? Very good. Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor, Larry in Rockville, and he does the Saturday night net. Don't miss it. 7:15 on D Star. D Star. If you don't got D Star, get on the air with the biggest, highest antenna you have, and even if you only got 5 watts, somebody will be able to hear you because we have several people who could hear you in at least in Middle Tennessee. You should be able to be heard. So do it. If you know somebody who's got D Star, tell them to get on the air. But D Star is at 7:15. C4 FM is at 7:30. I'm going backwards here, semi-backwards, and then at 7 o'clock we do DMR. So it's the same deal. If you got any of those modes, get on the air, those digital modes. 7:15, and 7:30. All right. Who else to sell?
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, your volume on YouTube is too low. You're unheardable. You're unheardable.
Okay. Well, that's odd. I think it's odd anyway. Let me. I hadn't changed anything. That's why I'm saying it's odd. Okay. Here we go. I'll get. You're gonna have to have a little bit of delay in there, but how's it doing now? 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. K4PEW.
Yeah, hold on. Wait for it to catch up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how much that delay is. It seems to be. It changes.
Pretty long.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It seems too long. You see, I don't know why the delay would be that bad, but apparently they got. It's one of those delays. They're monitoring to see if we're swearing.
Much better. Much better.
Okay, very good. Glad you mentioned that. I got my remote station engineer has advised me of some changes and the audio on the. Yeah, I didn't know that I didn't have it high because I thought it might be distorted. I think that's why I had it that way before. I don't know. Maybe I bumped it. All right. Appreciate the help there, Greg. Who else is Sal?
Kilo Quebec 4, Alpha Echo Tango.
Hello, Chris. Anything good?
Real good. Got my 510, Diamond 510 up and doing a 50-watt radio, so I'm hearing guys on the west side that I've never heard before.
Oh, yeah. No, it actually is an ear opener, I'll call it, when you get an antenna up that really does better receiving. You go, holy crap, those people are even out there.
Right? Yeah, I actually was able to get about 35 feet, so it's not doing too bad. It's a big boy, though.
Yeah, it's 17 and a half feet, I think, tall.
Yep. Wife came out of the house and looked after I got it up. She's like, wow, that's big.
Yeah, I did that. I put it up temporary because I wanted to just see. I mounted it on a fence post. It was on the corner, near the corner of my house. And my wife came out. She goes, "What's that?" I said, "That's an antenna." She goes, "Is it staying there?" I said, "No, it's going up on the roof." And she says, "What?"
Right? Yeah. So this is probably the best spot. I mean, it's kind of close to the driveway, and yeah, everybody pulls in the driveway. It's like the first thing they see. But I think she's letting me play with my toys, I guess. So that's nice. I appreciate it.
Well, I've said it a few times here on the air. Most people, if you have it up in the air, it becomes invisible to them. Especially if it's up on the roof. Nobody looks at the roof. Almost nobody is paying attention to the roof. They're too busy with their cell phones and they're driving and walking and everything but the roof. Do you think people care about the roof? No.
Yeah, it's just looking up, period, not just roofs. I remember when I was in the Army, I'd be playing the bad guy or something like that during an exercise. And I'd be able to get like up in the top corner in the rafters of a room or something like that. When the guys come in, they'd just be walking all through the room, clearing the room, and I'd just smoke them from up above. They never looked up.
Yeah, that's kind of human nature. Silly story from way long time ago. I had a third grade teacher. She played a game. I don't remember what the game was called. But what she would do, she would send someone out of the room, usually a volunteer, send them out of the room, out into what we called the cloak room, if you remember what those were. And then she would take a small object. It might be one of those pink erasers or just something, just a normal object that not everybody had. It wasn't common in the room. And just set it somewhere. It might be just be sitting on somebody's hand on the desk. Or it might be, up on her desk, just sitting there. And then the person, they tell them, okay, what you're looking for is this. And you sometimes, and it was so funny to watch. That kids are 8 years old, but they would walk around that room, walk right by it, and not see, they can't see it because it's right in plain sight.
Right. It's kind of like that game, where with kids on a globe, and you ask them to find the big countries where the letters are spaced out far apart, and it's the biggest thing on the globe, but they can't see it because they're looking really close and really small for the little words.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, it's very true. In fact, I sound like I'd be bragging, but it's not the right word. I've always had good visual acuity for things and details, and it was enhanced A by being in the military, and B when I worked in a hospital. I had to be constantly looking for problems that needed fixing. They were visual, that the public would see that made us look bad. And so, I mean, that was like, it took me a long time to get out of that habit of really looking at everything. Now I just look at 90% of things.
Yeah, same. I think it was military, and then I was in the old guard when I first came in, and that is meticulous levels of detail on just about everything. So like now I can't watch movies without catching continuity errors left and right.
Yeah, my wife tells me, "Why do you watch movies?"
Right. Not that I don't like them. I just wish someone would hire me to be the continuity guy, right?
No, what bothers me is we were watching. I'm not going to tell you which movie it was because it doesn't matter. But I was watching this movie, and it was about the Navy, from the 50s. It was about World War II, but in the 50s. And I said, at the beginning of the movie, it said who their Navy consultant was for technical reasons. Apparently, they hired a guy who was dead because he didn't catch anything.
Oh yeah, like military movies, I gotta check out and just enjoy it for what it is. Because if I don't, it'll just pull me right out of the thing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It is kind of funny though because it's so. She goes, well, maybe it's just that. I said, technically, it doesn't matter to the average person. That's right. But since you hired a consultant, and you should want to be accurate about procedural things like radio language, like how you deal with officers versus enlisted, and that doesn't change. But yet they screw it up every time.
Yeah, there's some that got them pretty close. They still got to put that Hollywood magic on it sometimes, but there are obviously better movies than others.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's all again. It's just a movie, and I don't know. I probably shouldn't even bother mentioning it. My wife would be a lot happier if I didn't.
Yeah, Roger. Hey, I don't want to tie things up too much. I'm going to keep listening and marking down people's locations to try and see how good the years are on this thing. And then I'm wondering if I couldn't ask a favor for anybody else who's getting ready to check in. If you heard me, Chris is the name. Just tell Paul you heard me when you come back in here, so I can see where I'm reaching.
Yeah, I'll do it for that. I think everybody heard that. Chris is on the air with a new antenna up high, and he's happy to have a huge hearing ability now with his antenna. So if you hear him, let us know. Especially, well, if you're right next door to him, then don't bother. But if you're up, when we get up to the north sector or anybody else, hey, Jack, are you able to hear Chris over here?
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, two things. You're a little too loud on YouTube now, it's distorted, and I hear him just fine in Antioch.
Okay, I just lowered it a skosh. Very good. I lowered. I thought it was distorted, but I think that's the reason I lowered it the first time, so a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, that was Chris Kilo, Quebec 4 Alpha Echo Tango, and he is down here in, I think it's called Rural Hill, where he is, if I'm not mistaken. Who else is south or east? Hey, so Chris was readable down there in Radyville? Yes, I'm sorry, David. Yes. Ah, very good. Well, Chris, I don't know if did you hear David down there? He's mobile near Reedyville.
Yeah, Roger, a little scratchy, but I got him.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, he's about 35 miles from me, so he's about 30 miles or so from you.
Fantastic. It got a pin on the map.
Yeah, see, you get that makes a heck of a difference with a good antenna and high antenna. Those two things together. Very good. Dave, you got anything else, David?
Yeah, I just want to say,
Yeah, very good. That's David. He's mobile down in Reedyville with a quarter wave antenna on the roof of his car, and he's actually surprised it works this well. And that was KI4 November Delta. Excuse me, KI4N. No, I got to say it right. Kilo India 4 November Delta November. Who else is south? South or east?
KM4YRF.
Hey, just for fun, tell Chris you can't hear him.
Chris, I couldn't hear you. The reason was I had my radio turned off. No, really, you were 55 over to me. Yeah, I figured we'd be banging each other up.
Yeah, very good. Anything good going on, Michael?
Nope, I had a great copy on Don. He was like S7 to me.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, he was rough to me, really rough. It must be my big oak and maple tree that's out in the backyard.
It could be, and it was really funny because I had a really good copy on Rick tonight as well.
Oh, Rick was fantastic copy.
Normally, I have a really, really hard time hearing him, or I don't hear him at all on the 2 meters, but it was good tonight.
Yeah, really. It was almost, I didn't look at the meter when he was on there, but he was a good, solid copy with very little hash in the background. I was surprised it was that good.
Well, me too. All right, I got one more day of work this week, and then I'll be off for 3 days. So I don't have anything else, Paul. Thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for plugging the mid-10 phone net. I'll say back to net control.
Yeah, very good. You can give me the money later. That was Mike, KM4YRF, and it's Michael, and he's in Mount Juliet, 2 miles east of me behind Providence near the dumpster. Who else is east? No more east, up to the north. Kilo Delta 4 Golf Oscar November. I'm pretty sure, Danny, you can hear Chris down here. He's 5 miles south of me.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Did you catch that, Chris?
Roger that, thanks.
All right, very good. Danny's up in Station Camp near Cottontown. Anyway, what's going on, Danny?
Sitting here hanging out. I was watching a movie, and I was like, oops, I'm missing the net.
Yeah, I've been caught doing that myself, even on my own nets.
Oh, Lord. All right.
No, one night, this is a few years ago, my wife says, she wakes me up. I fell asleep in a chair. We were just watching TV. And she goes, hey. I go, yeah. She goes, don't you have a net tonight? I go, and I look at my watch. I go, yeah. Matter of fact, I do. It was 10 after.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, it was funny. But now, well, for a long time now, I got the alarm on my phone that goes off. It goes off at, I think, at 30 minutes before and 10 minutes before, and then right at those are the 2 times. I can't forget. Well, I could forget. I could leave my phone somewhere.
Oh, Lord. That sounds like my morning alarm. It goes off at 6, 6:15, 6:30, and then at 7.
Oh, wow. Does it take you that long to get beat up?
Sometimes it's hard and motivating in the morning. I'm not a morning person.
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, when I had a job, I had to get up. I don't remember what time I had to be at work. I want to say 7, but I might be mistaken. But anyway, I learned that I had to take my alarm clock and put it on the other side of the room, as well as loud, buzzing electric clocks. Because if I had it next to the bed, I'd just turn it off and I wouldn't get up.
Well, that's what I do. I put it on top of my dresser, which I have to walk across the room to get to. And if I don't wake up, my wife's in there punching me in the back, saying, your alarm, your alarm.
I have, on occasion, slept through my alarm that I have set for getting up in the morning, on the phone, because I have the phone there and I just use that for my alarm clock. But there's a time I slept right through. My wife goes, how come you didn't get up? I said, I must have not set the alarm. And there it was. It went off.
Oh, yeah, I've done it too.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't usually sleep that soundly. I don't. But anything else going on for you?
Oh, not much. Yeah, when I go to sleep, the world it just ends. But anyway, I'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, my wife says, she says, I have trouble getting to sleep some nights. And I go, I don't know. I've never had that problem. Unless I had like a lot of coffee or something. That can mess me up. But if I decide I'm going to bed, I go to sleep. It never. I always will be able to go to sleep, except on those rare occasions when like a lot of coffee or a lot of Coca-Cola or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my wife says I'm a safe fire hit the pillow.
Well, I'm not quite. I'm not quite that good. Anyway, anything else for the net there, Danny?
No, I'll catch you on the next one.
All righty, that's Danny, Kilo Delta 4 Golf Oscar November. Who else is North?
WB0NLO.
I'm sure you heard Chris down there in wherever I said he was, down there south.
I did. He sounded good up here. So I just heard doing pretty good tonight. Band's good and clear. Not a lot of noise. No rain, thank goodness.
Yeah, you got to take the good with the bad. You know that. No, it is very clear. I was shocked at how clear, like Rick was out in Ashland City, because that's rough. He's usually rough, a little bit rough usually, but now he was almost as clear as you were.
Yeah, I don't always hear Rick, but he was solid tonight, so that's good. It's kind of interesting how much variance there really is on VHF on 2 meters. You don't think about it changing as much as it does, but it does change.
Well, that's what forget the tree issue, because I often hear people say it must be the trees and the foliage and all that. Well, that could be true, but in the summer when there's lots of foliage, the conditions are still variable, and that's why I have never studied intensely any of the conditions that can happen on VHF, but on local, how much conditions can there possibly be? I mean, is it just weather or is it other factors?
Well, I don't know. I always thought it was noise level, stuff like that. More local interference. But since I've been doing the net the last few years with you, there definitely is a difference. Although in the commercial world, I don't recall noticing it all that much. We'd have an occasional duct or something like that, but I don't know. But there is a difference. Now UHF is just universally weak.
Right, right. Except when it's not. But again, is it possible that magnetic issue with the Earth, those variances that happen, do you think that has something to do with it? Because I really don't even, that just came to me. Do you think that could have an effect locally?
Yeah, it sure doesn't seem like it, but I suppose it could.
I don't know. Doesn't make any. Again, well, simply put, I'm ignorant on the subject, and it does. I've had other people say that to me over the years. That say, until I did the Simplex net with you, I didn't realize there was that many variations in signal quality and signal propagation. They never even occurred to them, because either they were on a repeater or they were just used to dealing in HF.
Yep. Yeah, well, it is different. So if you get a chance, there is a good documentary on tonight. You may have to go find it. It's on Discovery Channel about Ocean Gate, the sub that imploded going down to the Titanic.
Oh, is that the one on PBS?
Well, I've got it on Discovery Channel. I don't think it's a PBS documentary. It's 2 hours tonight.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember reading about that. And that guy, I mean, I dealt with a lot of things. I'm not a mechanical engineer, but I played one once on TV. But I was reading about how he did not, he didn't even comply or try to submit his designs for that vessel to the
Paul, you're dropping out.
Oh, he didn't submit any of that information. I mean, he didn't even try to meet the standards of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers as far as structures for pressure vessels, and that was his demise right there.
Yeah, your audio is coming and going. I'm watching you online, and your mouth is moving, but nothing's coming over.
Well, that's strange. It should be coming. All right, I'm gonna bump it up a little bit online. How even in how is it on the air? How's it right now?
Oh, when you're good, you're good. But
when you're not, there's just nothing there.
Using the foot switch.
Yes, I'm on the foot switch. And it's hard to mess up the foot switch with this size 12.5 wide.
Well, that's what's happening.
Maybe. It may be that. Yeah, ma'am. Of course, that's kind of, your mouth is moving, but no, you're not saying anything. I've heard that before. That was Mark. Whiskey Bravo 0, November, Oscar. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to do the lead foot here with my gas, with my, with the gas foot here, gas pedal. Whiskey Bravo 0, November, Oscar. It's Mark in northwest Wilson County up by the beach. Who else is north?
Kilo Quebec 4, Oscar Mike India.
Hello, Dan. What's up?
Hey, not a lot. Sounding pretty good up here. And by the way, I can hear Chris 5/5, very readable.
You catch that, Chris?
Roger that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's up in the other side of the river. Up there from Hendersonville. So what's going on up there on your side of the, on a different county, thankfully, up there in Sumner? So what's up?
Yeah, we're up here in the frigid north. We're watching hockey right now. Good game. Florida's up 3-2.
Who's Florida playing?
Carolina. It's fall playoffs, semifinals.
Oh, yeah, I haven't kept up with it. I grew up watching hockey because I lived right on the Canadian border, so it was easy. I lived within all the Canadian. There was nothing broadcast on local television from Buffalo, but I had two stations I could watch, and one of them was Hamilton and Ontario, and the other one was Toronto. And I could watch all of the Toronto Maple Leaf games, no matter where they were playing. And as a kid, oh man, I was fat, dumb, and happy.
That's a funny story. We started watching hockey in Indianapolis, and we were at one of the minor league hockey games, and a guy came down and talked to us, and he probably talked to us for 15 minutes, and he kept laughing when he was talking to us. And found out like a little later it was Gordie Howe. He sat there and talked with us for probably 15 minutes. That was nuts. I wish I could get that time back.
Oh, wow. Gordie Howe. Oh, he is, I don't even know if he's still alive, but he's legend.
Yeah, no, he died 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, all of my old heroes from the hockey. That was back when there was only 7 teams in the whole league, and there wasn't one American in any of the teams, including the ones that were in the U.S. Boston and Philadelphia, New York, Chicago. They were all Canadian hockey players.
No, yeah. We started watching in Indianapolis just because they had a minor league game and or minor league team, and they were fun to watch. They fight the whole game.
Now, hockey's a great sport. It's it's really funny because it's people don't. If there's anybody here listening to me who thinks they can skate without lessons, well, I got something to teach them. Skating is hard. Skating at the level they skate is absolutely magical.
Yeah, I used to. I'd go to an ice skating rink and just skate to exercise. And a few of my buddies there, they were like, come on out and play hockey with us. And I'm like, well, I'm like 40 years old, man. You guys are gonna break something. And they kept trying to get me to go out with them. I was like, I can't skate backwards. And they're like, well, never mind.
Yeah, that's right. You have to be able to do it all. Unless you're the goalie.
Well, no, the goalie's got to skate backwards too.
Oh yeah, he does have to skate backwards. That's right. He can probably push himself backwards with his stick.
Yeah, he could do that. He's got a big old 2x4.
No, it is a fascinating sport. Sometimes the fighting gets a little out of hand, but you would not believe if you have never been, if you go up to even the junior league hockey up in Canada in Ontario, it's a cult.
Oh yeah, and then we watched it when it was the IHL up there, and that was what the IHL was doing, trying to toughen up the European players for the North American games.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah. Buffalo did have a minor league team, and I wish I had a picture of that because they were fun. It was fun to watch, and they were in that International Hockey League. Yeah, IHL, I think it was, but we only went a few times. Not that it was in Buffalo, which is about 20 miles away, so it wasn't convenient for my dad wasn't going to take me to hockey games over there. But anyway, it was funny because they had a sponsor, and the sponsor was Pepsi. Well, you think that's no big deal. Pepsi's a sponsor. Well, the back of their uniforms, the entire back of their uniform had the Pepsi logo on it. You know, the bottle cap.
Oh yeah, and Indianapolis was the Pepsi Coliseum, and we had property up in just a little bit west or a little bit east of Buffalo, and we went to the Sabres games a few times, and that was a lot of fun. We liked we liked the announcer there in Buffalo.
Oh yeah, no, very. Yeah, my brother lives there in just outside of the city limits of Buffalo in Amherst or Williamsville. I don't know what you call it because it's unclear to me what the heck the name of that town is because it doesn't really have a town name. But he's right there on the northeast, up by the University of Buffalo. And that's not what it's called. It's the University at Buffalo is the actual name of the place, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, all those little towns and burgs up there, they really, I mean, the name of the town doesn't mean anything. It's the name of the exit on the 90.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's one of my stupid stories. When I was working in Florida, all kinds of people worked there from all over the country. Well, mostly the East Coast, but all over the country. And so you that's how the conversations usually get started. Where are you from? And anyway, this one guy, I could tell his accent. It wasn't a Southern accent. It wasn't anywhere in the South, all the way from Pennsylvania south. It wasn't. I said, where are you from? He goes, I'm from Buffalo. And of course, I grew up, 18, 20 miles from Buffalo. I go, and whenever somebody says Buffalo, I know they don't mean Buffalo. So I said, really, whereabouts? And he goes, oh, Lewiston. I said, you realize Lewiston is another county from Buffalo, don't you? Yeah. And I go, well, why didn't you just tell me that to begin with? He goes, because I didn't think you knew where it was. I said, but I didn't ask you where you thought I wouldn't know where you. In other words, when somebody asks me where I was born, I don't say, where I'm not from.
Yeah. Hey, where were you in Florida? We always go to Nokomis Beach. We used to go there every year for I don't know a whole bunch of years. We haven't gone for the last maybe 2 years.
Oh, I lived in Tampa for 36 years.
Oh yeah, we're about an hour south of you there in Nokomis. We like that area. Venice Beach, Nokomis Beach is a beautiful area.
Oh, it's all nice except now the traffic's you got to be crazy to drive up and down there during the season.
Oh yeah. That interstate out there with the alligators. There's more cars. There's no alligators left. The alligators left.
No, it just one time I did a lot of business up and down that coast all the way down to Naples and Marco Island. And one day, for a really stupid reason, I said, I'm not going to get on the interstate. I'm going to take 41 going north. Well, 41 during the winter, it's like crawling with old people going slow through all those little towns and cities. And it took me like twice as long to get home.
Oh, yeah. We were on 41 just going 20 miles an hour going to the next ice cream shop on the way up.
No, it's still a nice area, though. I mean, I stayed at oh gosh, I forgot the name of the place now. Well, anyway, I'd stayed at several beach areas down there south between Sarasota and the Marco Island. Very nice beach. Most of them are pretty quiet.
Oh yeah, beautiful areas. Not no high rises. A lot of people just going out and enjoying the beach and thinking they're part of the tribe for the drum circles.
Yeah, no, it is nice though. That whole coast is nice because the East Coast is rough because you got some surf issues, but the West Coast it's nice and quiet on the Gulf. Usually, it's usually not a big deal.
Oh yeah. We loved it down there, and haven't gone for a couple of years, and we need to get back there.
Well, it is. If you're from the north, it's mandatory that you go to Florida. You don't have any choice.
Oh yeah. Well, I grew up in San Diego, and then moved to the Chicago area, and then. Of course, in the Chicago area, you got to go to Florida.
It's true. It's true. I just met a guy yesterday over at an auto repair place, and I could tell by his accent he was not from here. And I said, "Where are you from?" He didn't even bother to tell me. He just said, "Forget about it."
Forget about it, man.
Really? But he wasn't from Brooklyn. He wasn't from the city. He was from way out on Long Island. I forget the name of it now. Just a little town. Port Jefferson is the name of the town out on Long Island. But again, he just gets. It's like that. When I used to say I'm from New York, I stopped doing that because everybody assumed I was I was either from the Bronx or Brooklyn or Queens or I just now that I in the future I always said Niagara Falls. And I said, oh, Canada.
Yeah, we got some friends here. They're from upstate, and they're actually Western New York, and they're all scared of her. And I was like, no, man, it's just the way they are.
No, people in New York City aren't that bad. They're actually just normal people who live in a very hectic place, and you gotta pay attention. Anything else for the net, Dan?
No, thank you for what you do.
Very good. That's Dan. He's in Hendersonville. Kilo, Quebec 4, Oscar, Mike, India. Anybody else north?
KN4, ELI.
Hello, Eric. Everything good? You got a big signal. Were you able to hear? You must have been able to hear Chris down there in south of me, Rural Hill.
Yeah, Chris was about a 5'7" up here. He sounded great. You know, I'm in North Goodlettsville, not too far away from the Highland Wind Speedway, and he sounded great at 5'7".
Yeah, of course, you've got a fantastic elevation, so that's a big plus for you. But it is he's learning that it's great to have a good antenna at a good height.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, you can't beat it. I got lucky there, and someday I'll get a tower up, but you know, it's doing pretty good right now. I'm happy with what I got for right now.
Well, I told you about my rationale about towers. I don't really. It's nice to have. I got a naturally good elevation like you do, and I don't know that you're going to be unless you're trying to do some DX with a beam. A tower is just going to go. Okay, I hear a lot of people I don't really want to talk to.
Yeah, I can hear that. I can understand that. I wonder, how, much getting it up another, 30 feet or something like that would make a difference. I wonder how big a deal that would be, or if it'd be better to buy an amp instead. But usually height is might.
I think it would make a dramatic difference. When I say that, you'd be hearing people you didn't want to talk to. You'd be hearing more people, but it's one of those deals that about. You may have heard me say this, but just like they used to say from one of those politicians in Boston, he said that all politics is local. Well, technically, all ham radio is local. I mean, if somebody were checking in here routinely because he has a beam, and I had a guy do that. He was 75 miles away east here, and he had a big beam at a great elevation, but he checked in once, and that was the end of it. Because it's hard to say, oh, I connect with these guys great. But because they don't know anybody, all they do is they know they can check in, and there's not a whole lot of fun to that.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Usually every night, I guess because I'm on the north side, but there's usually about maybe 3 to 5 people. I don't hear anything. Sometimes I hear a squelch break, but I hear you talking to somebody. You say, "Oh, yeah, great signal," and it doesn't break a squelch or nothing over there. I turn the squelch all the way down, and I don't hear anything.
That is kind of annoying, if you can't hear somebody. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's about it. And as far as putting the antennas up, with the XYO is, you get 1 or 2 up there. They're not going to notice, like you said. They don't look up. They're like, okay, you have 8 antennas up there now. It doesn't happen. You get a couple up there, and you're good. You just keep stacking.
Yeah, I knew a ham. He's since passed on, and so his wife has too. But I had stopped in Virginia. They lived in just south of Washington, D.C., and she said to him, she goes, yeah, he's been in ham radio his whole life. He was the first person I ever met as a child who had a ham radio, and he had a mobile ham radio. It was back in 1950-something. And when I stopped in to see them in the 90s, and she says, yeah, I think we counted 17 antennas here at the house.
Yeah, Roger that. Yeah, I don't know if that many, but I got at least 8 or 9 or more. Like when the storm comes through, I got to undo all my antennas, and I got 8. But I guess I got some room for growth there. But that's about all I got. So I appreciate you doing that. KN40.
Very good. You're dragging up the rear here. That was Eric, Kilo November 4, Echo Romeo India, number 17. Is there anybody else out there?
November 8, November Hotel Tango.
Hey, Hayes, I realized Monday, that you were playing Sunday night. Did it rain? Yo, Hayes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they had us out there. It was going to rain. They ended up putting us inside. They said they weren't going to do that, but they did. So we went inside and played indoors.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't remember. My wife had Sunday off and Monday off, and I forgot all about it until Monday. I said, Hayes was playing. And she said, well, we'll have to do it next time.
Yeah, no, there'll be on some special days or Sundays. Maybe it has to be something where there's like Monday off. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people aren't going to come out on Sunday if it's a work day necessarily. But the day before Memorial Day is the day when people come out.
Yeah. Well, let me know when you're going to do it again. Make sure to tell me. Anything good for the net?
And we're getting ready to go to Lake Erie here real soon, and yeah, I'm gonna head up there probably Monday or Tuesday, and I guess that's about it. I worked a guy in New Zealand yesterday. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. It's always neat to meet. You have somebody on the air from over there in the South Pacific.
Yeah, it was 12 meters, and I was talking to him fine. So I've noticed I've done some good DX on that band, but it's never pile-ups or anything. I've done it served me some great for some long DX contacts.
Yeah, I've never worked on 12 meters.
Yeah, it's like the 10 meter. It's like 10 meters. I guess the propagation is quite a bit like 10 meters, but not very many people on there, so there's no pile-ups and not too many power stations, and you can get across. Sometimes you'll hear people call from very unique locations, and you're the first person there. There aren't very many people trying to get to them.
Yeah, that's funny. It's interesting how that works out that way. Yeah, but everybody else is on 20 and 40, right?
Yeah, and it seems like 12 and like 17 have some of the same people. Those work bands, you know.
Yeah, I worked quite a few stations on 17, but it's that's one of those it doesn't seem to have a lot of activity. It doesn't seem to have very good propagation. It seems worse than in other places.
Yeah, I've had some pretty good on a lot of stateside contacts and evening contacts when it started to get dark on 12 meters. 17 meters seems to open up, and then 12 meters is open, of course, when 10 meters is, and it's great for those contesting times when 10 meters is full of that.
Yep, I'm with you. Yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time on HF. I got to get busy doing some of that, but I have so many other stupid things I do that don't seem to take the time to do it. Anything else for the net there, Hayes?
No, I guess that's it, buddy. I'll let you know when we're playing again. Be good to see you out there. K4PW, this is N8NHT. I'll let you get back to that, buddy.
Yep, very good. That was Hayes, November 8, November Hotel Tango, and he's in Andersonville. Anybody else?
N4LFT.
Oh, N4LFT. Is that Rick?
N4LLC, Logan and Lebanon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard the call. How you doing, Logan? I saw. What did I see? I saw a post on Facebook with you. Did you get married, or is that your girlfriend?
That's my girlfriend. That was at graduation.
Oh, that's what it was. I'm not trying to push you into marriage. I just happened to see the very nice picture of you two.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, she's quite good-looking gal. Is that your permanent, semi-permanent girlfriend?
Heck yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Glad to see it. Yeah, you're getting up there in age now. You're graduating as a senior this year?
Yep, I am. I start at Cumberland in August.
Oh, awesome. What are you going to major in?
I'm doing political science.
You want to be a politician, or you just want to complain about it?
We'll see. Maybe a little bit of both. We'll see what happens. But I like to possibly either work for one or there's a good career path that leads to some pretty good money.
Yeah, I get a kick out of that political science. It's what you call a soft science, because I don't see anything scientific about political science, social science. Those are the two ones. There's not much science to them. There's some theories, but no science.
Absolutely. There's nothing scientific about it at all. I always tell people it's just in the name.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of funny to me that we call it a science, but not even close, man. Because humans, humans ain't scientific. There's nothing you can pin to say. In other words, even though we're all humans, we all do things differently or slightly differently, so it's not very reproducible.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I got my first schedule, and what's pretty cool is my first political science class, state and local politics. It's going to be taught by the mayor of the county, Mayor Hutto.
Oh, Oh, that's great. That's great. That's always a good plan, though, too, to have that because it gives you a firsthand. It's not just a theory to them in terms of what they're talking about. It's real application of what goes on.
Right, absolutely. So I think that'll be pretty good approach. And they've got other faculty members that one of them was one of the mayors in Nashville. So there's some good feedback. So it'll be some good lesson learned and good advice.
Yeah, in the criminal justice program I was in, they brought in, I think it was in constitutional law. They brought in a state judge and two attorneys. One was a defense attorney. I don't remember what the other one was, but the discussions were pretty good.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, I did an internship or like a job shadow with our criminal court this semester, so it's been nice getting to work and see alongside all of our judges and stuff. Yeah, I'll be taking. I think constitutional law will be one of my very last classes I have to take.
Well, I only have just be prepared to be awake because constitutional law, while there is a constitution, it's fairly easy to read. In the judgments of how the Supreme Court, when they issue their judgments, it is some laborious reading.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be very in depth. Like it'll be a 400 level class, so some very in depth information. But yeah, we got a little while before there, but at this point, it'll be here before we know it.
Oh yeah, yep. I'm glad to see it's going in that direction. I'm glad you're doing well, Logan. Well, probably will see you at the Hamfest in July.
Yeah, I'm sure. If I'm not at work, I'll definitely try to make my way out there. Been a little busy this past year, so we'll see what's going on. But hope everything's doing. Hope you're doing well over on that end down in Mount Juliet.
Oh yeah, we're doing great. Me and the 6 dogs and 2 cats and my wife. Yeah, we're doing. We feel like I live in a kennel.
Yeah, glad you're doing good. And for LLC.
Yeah, no, we have a good time. Anyway, there was Logan. He's in Lebanon, November 4, Lima Charlie. Finished high school and going to college, starting in the fall here. Who else is any place anywhere? All right, too late. We're calling all dilly-dalliers, spuddlers, landlubbers, sandbaggers, lollygaggers, lurkers, skulkers, slackers, lackeys, toadies, lackards, repeater gruchunkers, shape-shifting lizard people, moon landing deniers, moon occupied by alien deniers, flat earthers, flat earth deniers, scanner listeners, SDR donglers, preppers, end time survivalists, and the denizens of the airwaves that only hang out on repeaters. Any of those? Alrighty, we're going to go right over to 446, 415, unless I hear a complaint. All right, over to 446, 415. All right, I think I'm on low power, and I haven't figured out on this radio why it got stuck on low power. So if we're not, it's 5 watt night, it looks like for us anyway. But here I am, and let's start from the west. Please come down. Anybody west?
KG4 ILV. I was trying to turn it down to 5 watts.
Oh, okay. You don't have to, but I'm that's where I am. No, you sound good though. That's Jack Kilo Golf for India Lima Victor and Donaldson. Who else is west? Everybody fell asleep west. No west. Now I turn on the other radio, but it's not. I don't know where the setting is for 446 in there. Anyway, anybody else out there on west or south? Man, we're silent tonight. West, south, or east?
Quebec 4, Alpha Echo Tango.
Very good. Were you able to hear Jack out in Donaldson on his on 70 centimeters?
No, I was not.
Oh, Jackie, did you turn it down to 5 watts, Jack?
Yeah, you and Greg doubled.
Oh, okay, Greg, go ahead. I don't hear Greg. Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo. I should be able to hear Greg though. Greg, you out there?
Greg, you hear Paul? Okay, well, he can't hear you either.
Well, then yeah, so I hear something. All right. Who else is south or east?
KM4YRF.
Very, very good. Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot. Mike here in Mount Juliet. I should be able to hear him on a handheld, which I could. Who else is the east?
Yeah, Greg, hear you well.
Yeah, I got nothing on Greg. Anybody else east or north?
Can you pour Juliet?
I could always count on Danny. Kilo Go Delta 4 Golf Oscar November. Anybody else north?
KN4ERI, smoking out 50,000 milliwatts.
Oh, you're doing a fine job. I'm going to have to, my earwax melted.
Roger that.
Very good. That's Kilo November 4 Echo Romeo India in Goodlettsville. Eric, great. Big signal. Big. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We usually don't get more than about 9, but we'll see. Anybody else out there? Anybody, any place?
You doubled with somebody.
I'm not hearing anybody. Go ahead. Anybody, go ahead. Oh, that's Dan. Okay. Very good. That is Dan. Kilo Quebec 4 Oscar Mike India. You sound good. I also got Danny and who did I write in here? Kilo Delta 4. Oh, yeah, I got it by relay. I got Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo. Very good. Anybody else? I hear somebody trying to transmit, but I've got no audio. Anybody? And it doesn't even look like I'm doing 5 watts, quite honestly. That's awful. Well, I'm going to have to do something about that. I'm on really QRP tonight. Anybody else, any place, anywhere before I move over to 28.415? Still got 9 people in there, which is about average. Going over to 28.415. I guess you can make that announcement, Michael. Well, we're going to 28.415. All righty, we're here at 28.415. This is K4PEW looking for check-ins from any place, anywhere. KQ4. Which was that KQ4 station?
KQ4AET, Alpha Echo Tango, Chris.
Oh, very good, very good. I just didn't hear the last part of that. That was Chris down there in Rural Hill. Who was that? Was that you, Danny?
Yeah, that's me.
I know, you have a good signal. There was just a little bit of a double in there. That was Kilo Delta 4 Golf, Oscar November, in Station Camp. Who else is there anywhere?
KM4YRF.
All right, we've got KM4YRF, Michael here in Mount Juliet. Who was the other? Who was the other station?
November 8, November Hotel Tango.
Okay, very good. We got KD4CVE. That was you, right, Greg?
Yeah, and I think Echo Alpha Tango also.
I did get Alpha Echo Tango, yes, earlier, and I heard Hayes in there as well. November 8, November Hotel Tango. That was you, Hayes. How could I not hear you?
Kilo Quebec 4 Oscar Mike India.
Ah, very good. Kilo Quebec 4 Oscar Mike India. That was Dan in Hendersonville. Okay, very good. Anybody else?
Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victor.
Well, conditions sound pretty clean tonight, don't they, Jay?
Yeah, they sound good. And I had Chris 10 over back on the 2 meters.
Oh, yeah. No, he'll be happy to hear that. Did you hear that, Chris? On 2 meters, Jack had you in Donaldson there 10 over.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else?
KN4ERI.
Very good. We got Eric in Goodlettsville. It'd be, it's funny. Your signal is so big on 2 meters, and on 70 centimeters, it drops off. It's funny that 10 meters would be so low.
That's the good old 70 centimeter. I got the big old GP9 up there, but yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, I know, but no, I expect you to be better on 10 meters. Are you using the long wire on 10 meters?
Negative. I'm on the vertical right now. I could switch over to the long wire.
No.
Check.
No, I would suspect you'd do better on a vertical than you would on the long wire.
Yeah, the vertical seems louder. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, it just does. And of course, we're close enough, and our elevations are relatively good to each other. It's fine, but I just expect it to be even bigger than that, you know.
Slayers, I got to get that tower.
I started GoFundMe.
Roger.
Very good. That was Eric in Goodlettsville. Kilo November 4 Echo Romeo India. Anybody else? Anybody anywhere? Well, very good. Then we're going to go over to 223.415. We had duplicate 9 on 70 centimeters and 9 on 10 meters. Very good. We shall see you on 223.415 if you got it. We'll catch y'all later. K4PEW.
Hey, Paul, thank you very much for your help tonight. I'm going to be out of here. 64AET.
Oh yeah, no, it's always good when somebody's got a new antenna or whatever. That's cool. I'm glad you're makes it a lot more fun. K4PEW.